All right, the next few sections will be on the new star type questions. So let's just jump right into that. It says, what value of x makes this equation true? And so you have to have the exact answers. There's no rounding or estimating here. So I'm just going to rewrite that so we can show the work. And let me move this over a little. So I'm in enough room. So then we have on this side. All right, so remember you have to isolate the variable. It needs, oops, 0, 2, sorry. We want the variables on the same side. So I'm going to subtract this 0.03x from both sides. And it's making sure we line up the decimal. So 0.03x. You subtract those two, you'll get 0.14x. Then you still have the minus 0.03. And then we still have the negative, remember it's minus, so that negative sign goes with it, 0.002. Still need to isolate this variable, so we've got to get rid of this minus 300. So we're going to add 300ths to both sides. Remember, you do the opposite. Line up the decimal, 0.03, or put it in your calculator. You are adding that, so you want to go ahead and just put that into your calculator. You can put it in as negative 0.002 plus 0.03, or you can just do 0.03 minus, which that's what I'm going to do in the calculator. I'm going to put 0.03 minus 0.002, and it comes out to 0.028. My screen went haywire. Hold on. 0.0, let's see if I can do it without resizing it. 0.028. We still have the 0.14x, so the last step here would be to divide by the 0.14. So make sure, you do want to use your calculator here. Just take the 0.028 and divide that by 0.14. And it comes out to 0.2. So this is 0.2, so you'd have to hit this, the decimal, and the 2 when you enter that answer. Try to adjust my screen again. All right, next one. Ooh, okay, got off the screen here. So a poster storage tube in the shape of a cylinder has a diameter of 3.5 inches and a volume of 122.5 pi cubic inches. What is the height of the poster storage tube in inches? All right, so we want to start where we have a cylinder and volume. So remember, cylinder looks like this. Oops, sort of. The base is a circle. The formula is on that reference chart. So it is base times the height. So that big B means the area of the base, and then the height of the cylinder. So we're going to plug in what we know, but let's, first of all, the base is a circle. So that means we have to do, this is going to be pi r squared. Area of a circle is pi r squared. What do we know? So we know the diameter is 3.5. We need the radius. So we're going to have to divide that by 2. So the radius, 3.5 divided by 2, is 1.75. And they've given us the volume, and we're looking for the height. That's what we're trying to find. So we're going to plug in the volume that we know, 122.5. We're going to leave that pi symbol there. We have to square the 1.75. Oops, I forgot my pi here. So the first thing I'm going to do is divide both sides by pi. And all that's going to do is cancel it out because pi divided by pi is just 1. So you're left with 122.5 on this side. Over here, pi divided by pi is 1. I'm going to go ahead, we're going to use that calculator. We're going to do 1.75 squared. And that's 3.0625. Do not round. You have to get the exact answer here. So 3.0625 h. Now you have to solve for h, so you're going to divide both sides by the 3.0625. Use a calculator. I'm using one. If I divide 122.5 divided by 3.0625, the answer is exactly 40. So this is 40 for this one. H is equal to 40. So the answer would go in here. You would just click this and this, that type of question. All right, this one is proportional, non-proportional. It says determine which situation represents a proportional or a non-proportional relationship. So remember, proportional relationships, it's y equals kx. Non-proportional, and this also with the proportional relationships, it's going to pass through that origin, through that middle. Now with non-proportional, it does not go through the origin, and you have that plus or minus something. All right, so that doesn't go through the origin. So let's look at each situation. It says the number of text messages sent in if 4 were already sent and 6 messages per day. So the 6 messages per day is like 6 times d, the number of days. But it says 4 were already sent, so you have to add that 4. So because it has that plus 4, it's non-proportional. The number of characters in a text message of each word contains 6 characters. So 6 times c, there's no plus or minus, so that's proportional. The number of minutes it takes to enter a text message at 50 characters per minute. So no plus or minus, so that's proportional. The time it takes to send a text message, if it takes 30 seconds to open the app, and the sender enters 1 character per second. So 1 per second, one character times s, but you have that 30 seconds already, so you have to add that in. So that's a non-proportional relationship. All right, so this one, it says a circle with center -4, -4 on a coordinate plane is transformed so that its image forms a circle with center -4, 4. Which rule describes transformations that result in a circle with center R prime? So if you look at what we know, the original one is -4, -4. The new one is -4, 4. Would this rule work? Does x stay the same? Yes, it does. Does y change by adding 4? Well, this is -4, this is +4. That wouldn't work because -4 plus the 4 on the y would give you 0. So that can't be it. The next one, the x is exactly the same, so that can't be it. So it's not the opposite. Here, the x is the same. Does this rule work? You have your original -4 for your y value, if you add 8, does that give you the 4? Yes, it does. So this one does work. So x, the next one, x is the same, yes. Y is the opposite. Yep, that one works because look, -4, 4. That's the same. And this one, so this is our original one. So if it was this, the opposite of y would put this as 4, and then this would be -4. And that's not what the answer is. So it's just those two that are checked. All right, so each of the 4 diagrams shows a pair of parallel lines intersected by a transversal that forms the angles shown. All right, so complete the equations to make them true. Move the correct answer to each box. No, not all answers will be used. So here it says x equals. Well, there's only one diagram that has the x right here. Now remember that you've got angles that are called alternate interior that are congruent, this and this. Those are the same size. If you look at that, you can hopefully tell they're both acute, they're the same size. So x would be 60. Now if you look at the y, this is a straight line, and together those should add up to 180. So the y, which will equal 120. Now that's not what they're asking. They're asking what x plus y is. Well, the 60 plus the 120 is 180. So it's this one. We should have time for one more. So you have a triangle, it's shown. The triangle is rotated 90 degrees clockwise to create the new one. Choose the correct answer from each drop-down menu to complete the statements. So this one, the choices are like congruent, not congruent. In a rotation, remember the figure stays the same as size and shape. It just moves, it rotates. So this would be congruent. Then it says the orientation of the vertices of the new triangle, blank, the same as the orientation of the vertices of the old triangle. I need to open up I can't remember what the choices were, so let me look. Orientation of the vertices of the new one. I'm going to have to come back to this on the next recording, so I'll finish this up because I have to go back to it and see what the choices are. I do apologize, but that's what we have so far, and you can move on to the next one. We'll start with the rest of this.